Sometimes you can learn a lot by actually getting yourself out there and going to your local shops and going boots on the ground and seeing what is happening. Welcome back to another episode of Krabby's Cards. And today I'm going to talk about a few observations that I had at my local card shop today. So I picked up a couple things and then I was talking to the owner and he told me some things that surprised me. So what I picked up so this was the secondary thing I picked up. I did not have a mini tin display of black and white yet, black bolt and white flare. And I tried to pick up one of these from every set because I just really like the design and the artwork of all of these mini tins. So I picked up that and that was the thing I was actually most surprised by. And then I figured before I took it to the storage unit, I would bring it here. I wish I could pop it up on screen. Boop. But somebody teach me how to in the comments below, drop how to do an iPhone, drop pictures into an iPhone video because I don't know how to do it. I tried iMovie, it's terrible. This is a case of Charizard UPCs. The new one, the Ultra Premium Collection that just came out in the fall. And I was excited. I only had one of these in my collection, but only one single one. And now I got, 4. So I have a total of 5. But actually, it's a pretty nice case. It's a little beat up. And I'll kind of get to why it's beat up a little bit. But yeah, so I don't know if that's all on camera or not. But that's a nice little sealed case of, it's got a big cut there. But yeah, so I was standing there and kind of figuring out what to buy. And the Ultra Premium Collections they had for $145. And I said, do you have a sealed case left? Because there was 2 or 3 sitting on the shelf. And he said, let me check. He went back and he came out and he said, this is the last one I have. And I think that's why it was kind of beat up. So this is a store that gets huge allocations. I believe they have 5 or 6 different distributors. And I've personally been going there for over 30 years. That's right. It's the same card shop I went to when I was like 7 or 8 years old, when I first started opening base set Pokemon cards. It's new ownership now, but I've had a good relationship with the past owner and the current owner. But anyway, so he told me something interesting. This was the last case of the UPCs in the back, and and they had a couple on the shelf, and I was like, huh. That's kind of interesting that they're selling so well still at like 145, 150 bucks after tax. And then I went online and I was just looking at kind of the sell-through rate. And I was thinking about the UPCs and the old UPCs, the ones from Sword and Shield, the Charizard one that came out the gate like $250 and then went to $200 and then they printed it and it went to $70 and you get it all day for like 70, 80 bucks. And while I do think they are going to reprint sets heavily moving forward, I was thinking of some of these more specialty items like a UPC. And we saw the 2-packs drop at Costco. All of that product has to be flushed through for the most part, at least the first wave. I don't know if they're getting a second wave of them. I don't believe we've heard anything. And we have this price holding steady at 145, 150 bucks. I believe it's even trending towards like 160 on TCG Player. I don't see them at GameStops anymore, or at least not my local ones, and they had them for 200. They were selling them for like 199, 189, I think, if you were a pro member. So if they even sold out of them at that price, that's pretty crazy. And I was thinking about it as like a specialty item. It has that promo card, it has special dice and special sleeves and all this stuff. And it's something that's very difficult for Pokemon to reprint. And I was just thinking we might not see a whole lot of that flood the market, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. It just felt like a good pickup. And I actually kind of wanted to pick up more. But they didn't have any more sealed cases. Like I said, this is going in my storage unit. And this is going to be like a 5-year hold. This is something that I'm not opening. I have my one that I can open if I want. But yeah. And what I was kind of thinking about is demand can spike like without the headlines, right? Like it can be a quiet increase and not necessarily a big FOMO, like Destin Rivals going to $600. I know I keep bringing that up, but yeah, sometimes it can be quiet. And I think that like an LGS or a local card store perspective matters, and talking to them and seeing what they're seeing. And like he said, they were selling, obviously they were selling well. But what I actually talked to him most about was black and white. And this is really interesting. So when I was checking out, he said, "Man, this is crazy. Everybody's buying." What he's like, "What's up with black and white lately?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I can't keep it in stock. I'm selling out of everything." I'm like, "Really?" He said, "All of his ETBs are gone. No booster bundles. No. That he had one or two displays of tins left, and then like an open one with loose tins, and then he had some blister packs." But I think he said he was about to move up to $40 because they were just selling so fast. He was about to run out of them. And I found that really interesting because not a lot of people talk about Black Bolt and White Flare, right? It's kind of the lost, like it was the last Scarlet and Violet set that we got, which is actually kind of crazy to think about. So it's the last Scarlet and Violet set that we got. It has 156 illustration rares. It has some of the most incredible chases of the whole era in the monochrome, Zekrom, Reshiram, Victini. Those cards are amazing in person, like absolutely stunning in person. You have amazing SIRs of some of the same Pokemon, and then a couple other good, like you have the starters, and you have a lot of different Pokemon from that era that are well liked, and you have some great artworks. And it's very underappreciated, I feel like. And because of that, the sell-through rate and the demand is just not quite there. And I'm wondering if that is going to make Black Bolt and White Flare be one of the best financial plays that we've had in a long time. When you look at the sell-through rate on TCG Player of Black Bolt ETB, it's still selling like 12 to 14 ETBs a day. White Flare is like 8 to 10. Black Bolt is definitely higher in demand than White Flare is, but White Flare is still good, right? So we have a decent, slow and steady sell-through rate, right? It's the sell-through rate isn't like Prismatic or like 151 or even Paldean Fates. It's more slow and steady, but the supply doesn't seem like it's as high on eBay or on TCG Player, and then clearly not at my local shop. So what if Black Bolt and White Flare just kind of quietly keeps selling through and going up, and we don't see huge reprints because Pokemon doesn't focus on it because they think it's just like a Shrouded Fable, right? Like Shrouded Fable is honestly having the same life cycle, much slower because it's a much much lesser demand set, but Shrouded Fable is still going up, and I'm very confident that we are not getting a Shrouded Fable reprint. Like, I mean maybe we'll get something smaller or bundles, right? Like we got those booster bundles a couple months ago actually, but I doubt that we're getting ETBs. Like, so what if we don't see a Black Bolt and White Flare ETB reprint ever again? What do those sets look like in 2 or 3 years after they go out of rotation? Like they don't go out of rotation until 2028, but man, I don't know how much they'll focus on them. It's an interesting conversation that I was having with myself today driving home. And it was just like, that's just interesting that the sell-through rate is so good at this very large shop. And it just, I don't know. It had me thinking about, again, how demand can just be steady and slowly increase quietly. And, every YouTuber's not talking about it. Like I've heard a couple YouTubers talk about it. I think Nostalgianomics talked about Black Bolt White Flare a couple times not too long ago. But yeah, not too many people talk about it, and it's a good set. I'm not even I never played the black and white games. That's when I missed a couple of eras, but I heard they're great. So I think that there is a group of kids, you know, that are probably what in their like 20s right now that played that as kids, that when they come into money, man, they're gonna come back and just hammer black and white. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's interesting, the collector and investor psychology of some of these sets is just, it's very, very interesting of what goes through the hype cycles and what doesn't, but still performs well. And yeah, supply and demand is everything, right? I think the important thing though with through it all is still to just like kind of not panic and just try to observe these things, right? I have not been great over the years of observing the market trends and trying to you know, like methodically and like what's the word I'm looking for? You know, being tactical, precise. Yeah, what's that word I'm looking for? I can't think of it. Somebody will say it down below. But calculated. Maybe that's what I was thinking about. Being calculated and very observant and just trying to, you know, not always just sound the alarm and panic buy everything. But yeah, I felt good about these purchases today. Like I said, I didn't have this in my collection at all. I just have a couple ETBs and a bunch of bundles. But yeah, I think I might look to pick up more Black Bolt and White Flare. I just think they're good sets, and yeah, we'll see what happens. And this is my first ever case of UPCs. I've never bought in a case before. I have a couple. I have a couple loose. I think I gotta check the storage unit and see how many 151 UPCs I have. I think I only have 3 in a tote, but yeah. Yeah, good stuff. UPCs are interesting. They're so big and bulky, but I don't think you're gonna have problems moving them down the road. They're gonna be sought after. So I think that's gonna do it for this one. I appreciate you guys. You know, like, comment, subscribe if you liked what you heard and saw, and let me know. Let me know what your favorite card from Black Bolt and White Flare is. Do you like the monochromes? Do you like some of the special illustration rares? Do you like some of the IRs? There's like 100 illustration rares to pick from. So let me know what your favorite card from Black Bolt and White Flare is. And I appreciate you watching, and we will catch you tomorrow.